You saw the thumbnail. You know exactly what we're here for. So sit back, relax. Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hampton Rikes, it's time for a lovely little yapping session. So, I'm currently looking at the brand new Complete the Sets Rustoria for 2026. Or rather, it's been over a day. It's been past 24 hours. Yeah, get a good look at that. In fact, let me go ahead and just refresh so you can see that, yep, we're definitely up to date. Cool. And what I should also point out is that isn't even the first 24 hours of sales. It's a little bit later. Let's go ahead and just showcase. There you go. Boom. So there's the tweet. And unfortunately, I was a little bit late. I was a little bit distracted. But look at the difference, because I'm currently sitting here about 28 hours since the rust rotated. So, what, 2.5 hours later? Look at the difference. Let's go back over to here. Boom. Okay. I think I'll still be able to figure out reasonably well when I do the 48-hour analysis how much each of the skins are likely to sell by next Thursday, all right? So, no need to be worried about that. And knowing that, you know what? Whilst we're here, I should remind you, when I did my predictions video, looking at all the skins, I kind of was under the assumption, I know we're only like a few hours in since the rust rotated, but I did sit there and say, it looks as if the skins aren't selling that much. Perhaps it could be a tame week. Well, look at that. I reckon, with how everything is lining up, especially with the clothing and the armor, it definitely looks as if everything there looks like everything here could potentially line up very nicely and potentially even become the lowest selling skins amongst the batch. So, case in point, naval camo jacket, that really didn't sell that much initially, didn't it? And I can confirm to you, at the current rate of sales, that jacket could be the lowest selling skin amongst all the clothing and the armor, even the backpack and whatnot. Well then, that makes that a lot more interesting, doesn't it? Yeah. I should also point out, very nice to see the Hellcore collection continue. Very happy to see it. But, are we guaranteed to see like tier 2 and boots and gloves and whatnot? It's more of a case of the hope. Funnily enough, this wasn't completing a collection, but it was contributing to completing it. It's progressing it. It's continuing it. But at the very least, we can sit here and say at least Knights Templar was fully complete. But again, look at the sales and keep an eye on this, right? It looks as if the boots and gloves could end up being the lowest selling pieces amongst all the clothing and the armor here. Disregard the AK, it doesn't really matter that much. Focus the clothing and the armor. So, alright, cool. Keep an eye on them. But you know what? Aside from all of that, the main thing that surprised me with an acceptance in Complete the Sets 2026 was actually the small box. I'm here to talk about Sinotype Collection. So here we go. Let's begin. You might recall in the past, last year, when I first set my eyes upon this, I was like, oh wow. We first saw the Firearms large box, if you can recall. And I was looking at the design, I was thinking to myself, could this actually turn into like a storage collection? Yes it did. But I was basically kind of like preparing people for the possibility. I was telling people how previous storage collections started and whatnot. And, we're all hyped up. Sinotype hype. Initially, super hyped up, super involved, lots of investment. And you can even see the progress because I was basically keeping track of nearly everything that was happening with Sinotype Collection. Loads of short videos, you name it. Oh, good. Yeah. And, we're just seeing how everything was lining up. With just a few skins accepted, okay? With just a few skins accepted, everything was looking really, really, really interesting. That Sinotype large Firearms box. I'm a little bit lost for words because I could have sold mine, but I didn't. At one point now it's selling for $30 a piece. And I didn't sell mine. So what went wrong? Well, around the end of last year, there was some rumblings. There was some mentions on the commits about a potential brand new storage collection made by Facepunch themselves. And our worries, our concerns just kept growing. And it was getting worse and worse and worse. And people were noticing. I remember for post-Christmas 2026, which should have been an absolutely amazing time for a storage collection, none of the skins went up in value. None of the skins went up in price. People were just too worried about what on earth was being mentioned on the commits. Well, I can confirm to you that what it turned out to be was potentially the worst possible thing. Oh no. So let me just quickly explain. Facepunch made their very own large box collection, and they priced it so cheaply that it affected all of the storage collections. So I'm talking Scientific, Graffiti, even the original Neon storage set. $18 for a whole batch of large boxes, which glow in the dark, have an interesting feature as well. Of course, you know, like when you add something to it, you can actually visually see it being added. It's all transparent on the inside, and it's very easy to see with the glow in the dark with the words that you see there on the side. So, you know, for all the people out there that just wants to have a nice, perfectly fine batch of large boxes that are labeled perfectly, could easily read it and whatnot, that was like the most desired thing. And unfortunately, with that appearing, guess what? With this literally appearing like a month just after we like fully completed Sinotype Collection, it all crashed and burned. Like, I can remember, as we were progressing, I was remembering the Sinotype Collection had like everything adding up to about $50 to $60. Not it wasn't insane, but it was looking good. We must have been about 14 skins in then, but that was around that period of time when we started to notice some potential issues. And I've got to point this out as well. Sinotype Collection, just the large boxes, that is the largest large box collection we have in all of Rust, right? 20 in total, and they've all just crashed and burned. So why are we talking about this small box then? Why are you so positive? Because at the very least, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe this could be a new beginning. A re-energization. A revelation. No. A rebirth. Yeah, let's go with that. So basically, I'm very much under the impression that skin creators should avoid making storage collections from here and now. No large box sets. What's stopping them from making small box sets? Oh. Could we now potentially see a series of Sinotype mini storage boxes, basically? And how far could it actually go? What do you specifically, yep, you the viewer, I'm asking you right now, what would you like to see being made for this proposed set, if it were to happen? So I actually went to the comment section, and I just straight up asked. So I guess we're good for some Sinotype small box skins, because, well, yeah, you're not really supposed to make the large box skins anymore, but you can make small boxes, right? And we have had attempts for small box skin sets in the past. We haven't seen them look super successful, though, but we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, does this now open the door for a whole lot more? And again, what would you like to see? So, okay, I mean, I am being a little bit optimistic, and honestly, I wasn't going to talk about the Sinotype Collection until it was like the summer peaks. If you don't know what summer peaks are, usually during the period of July to August, we have a lot of people playing Rust because kids are out of school, summer vacation across the world, I believe, at least in most parts. And yeah, more people playing, more demand for skins, brand new all-time high prices. So, summer peaks, brand new all-time peak prices. Okay, cool. So, anyway, I wanted to wait until then, and then, of course, we'll, like, go back and compare because, yes, again, I must reiterate, things got really, really bad. It wasn't just Sinotype. It was Sinotype, it was Graffiti, it was Scientific, it was even the Neon large boxes. And in this video, I went and looked at all those storage collections. So again, we just looked at Sinotype. If you deducted the garage doors and, of course, the small box, you could get all 20 of those skins for about $30. In fact, less than $30. That's ridiculous. And there's even some boxes here that aren't even in that DLC. Yes, I'm not joking. Sinotype actually had some interesting skins that weren't ever like produced for anything else. Navy box. I think we had a fuel box before. Point still remains. So if I could go like back to Graffiti, for example, if I can recall, this was pushing up to like $70 at one point. Well, it isn't anymore. Oh boy. Look at that. I remember when I was doing comparisons and I was talking about how Graffiti Collection was the most recent brand new storage collection that produced and worked out nicely. Again, there was a 3-year gap since Graffiti, no storage collection until Sinotype. And that's why Sinotype had so much hype. That's why I had so much involvement. That's why we were so into it. And seeing how this succeeded as time went on, yeah, we were doing lots of comparisons. So look at it now. Oh boy. We've actually got quite a lot of skins there in the negative, in the red. And it's not a pretty sight to see. Then, of course, we'll mention Scientific. And you know what? With it being a fairly older and not as well-known storage collection, I guess this didn't really suffer as much. It still suffered, but it's still all costing about $70. And if I can recall, this was like around $100, $110 before we saw everything go down real bad. Still suffering, but not as bad compared to the others. All right, cool. So, but the neon set, let's go ahead and remind ourselves. That was basically the first well-known storage collection. Disregard all the other deplorables. Keep an eye on those small boxes. We'll talk about them in a second. But get a good look at all of that. Every single skin here is in the positive. When I saw everything go down, when we were sitting there, putting our shirts over our faces, going, ah! I still thought neon would be fine because that's got like the prestige. People want that collection. People like that collection. If you've got like a big clan, if you're going to have a huge base, if you're going to organise everything with large boxes and whatnot, I've always seen these being utilised. They're special in a way. So I always thought, okay, these might suffer, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do kind of pick themselves back up again. Might take a while, but yeah. Because again, I don't think everybody happens to like the design of these. Yeah, they're efficient in a way, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, easy to read. Okay, cool. But they don't exactly look like they're... they don't look super appealing, is what I'm going to say. So perhaps based on aesthetics, people would like the super valuable, super well-known skins instead. And it's always had that prestige. Cool. Understood. Could I also just quickly point out, right, I'm sorry, I've got to do a little brag here. The most expensive one is pushing up to $40, and it's always been around that price, so that's barely changed. If I could just quickly go ahead and point this out. Oh, what's this? 10th of June? What? Also, Desert Raiders hoodies. Someone has been dumping valuable camouflage skins for super cheap, and apparently Neon Boom storages. So, thank you. Anyway, back over to here. So, yeah. I thought we could just go ahead and look at some of these storages just to see how they've progressed. And what I'm going to do is make another video, maybe in about 2 months in, halfway through August 2026, just to see if anything improved. I thought that'd be a nice thing to do. But I felt motivated to jump in and do an extra video simply because I saw the small box. Because now we've got to keep an eye out. We could potentially have a brand new small box collection on the horizon. So let's just go ahead and look at the skin that was always the most expensive out of the neon storages. And yes, just looking at it, it did drop off, but it seems to be climbing back up again. That's a promising sight to see. And that's an even more interesting sight to see. So yeah, it's past the worst of it. Maybe it's going to take another year or two, and then eventually it could get back to where it was. Okay, that's fine. But it's still doing good, if you know what I mean. But it's not as good as where it was. So another storage I thought we could go ahead and take a look at is the gun storage. I know this suffered. So take a look at this. Get a good look at that. And here we are. So there's another thing I want to talk about in regards to this. And you probably noticed the thumbnail. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. And oh boy, oh dear, oh no. What went wrong? Oh dear. So yeah. February 2026. Maybe it's not going to be that bad. Maybe things will be alright, Maybe the whole screaming about the potential DLC storage collection is all just a bunch of lies and propaganda. No, it appeared it was real. But this has managed to recover a little bit. But based on where it was before, oh boy. So that does appear to be like a huge dramatic drop-off. But the reality is this is like $11, $12, yeah? And now it sits here, poor, $6. So it halved in price. But it's not like this was selling for like $50 and now it's down to $25. But that is still a very noticeable and not very nice sight to see, is it? Yeah. But again, with its prestige, will the Neon Collection slowly pick itself back up and, eventually get back to where it was? We'll see. And the question is like, Sinotype Collection. Obviously, this is new. Obviously, we never really got to see it properly flourish. But could we actually see these skins rise up nicely as we go through the next 2 months? As we go through the summer peaks, will the interest be there? Will people rather buy these instead of buying the DLC? Well, that's always been a bit of a discussion, but unfortunately, over the past couple, what must have been about 3 months. Yep, back over to here. Let's just quickly confirm this. Yep, I recorded this back in March 2026. It's now June 2026. I was under the assumption, all right, we're going to go through the Easter dip. This isn't a very fun time. It's not looking very good. But surely, as we go through the summertime, I optimistically thought we could probably see some improvement. Well, at the very least, let's go over to here. Let's point out how we have Sinotype Drop Box. This is not one of the boxes that we see in the DLC. So this, whilst it wasn't like one of the best performing skins in the set, it's probably one of the best performing ones now because, again, we never saw one in the DLC. It's slightly below its price it sold for in the Rust store. Yeah, good look at that. The listings are okay. The barters are still quite alright. And look at the sales history. Yeah, it dipped like all the other Sinotype storages, but then it recovered and it was just back to where it was. Almost. Like, if people look at the Sinotype collection a lot more positively and actually appreciated it, which fingers crossed we hope for, surely everything could end up like this. Hopefully. Now, you might be sitting there and saying, okay, so will a small box collection really give this a boost? I think at the very least it'll give it a lot more eyes again. A lot more people look back at it. A lot more people go, you know what, maybe I could just go back and grab some of them. They're so cheap now, why not? I hope. You know what, let's go ahead and take a look at the Sinotype Firearms, because I wasn't joking. At one point, this was selling for about $30 a piece. So, yep, let's go ahead and showcase that. Right now, it's currently priced at $4. And if I could just scroll down, you'll see with your own eyes. Get a good look at this. Oh, wow. Oh, dear. No. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. And yep. Yeah, good look at that. August 15, 2025. Close to $30. And ever since we saw the DLC storage collection, oh, boy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. So it reached a rock bottom price, and it's just been stable at this point for quite some time now. But I've also got to point this out as well. It might not just be the DLC. It could also be something else. So I'm just going to quickly segue to a certain interesting brand new storage collection that you probably didn't even realise. Yep. I'm going to highlight and point out. Are you aware of the Rustoria drops? Have you noticed that they've started to get these large box skins as drops? And oh. So this has happened like over the past half year or so, I believe, yeah? And the most recent batch, we of course happen to have the guns box, which was perfectly fine. Like, that is super easy to see, that's super easy to read. We might have to wait quite some time, but you're slowly building up a brand new storage collection for absolutely free. Did you notice? Are you aware? Go look at your inventory right now. You do have all the drops right. You might want to go to twitch.facebook.com, kick.facebook.com, and check for missing drops just in case. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now, again, that's going to take a good few years until we actually get like a full-fledged batch of them. But this is actually quite smart. Typically, in the past, people didn't really care about the regular drops, the Rustoria drops. Not to sound mean, but come on. But hang on a minute. All right, well, fair enough then. Remember what I said. If it's super easy to see and super clear, people will like and people will appreciate. Well, guess what? I think that might be in a pretty good spot. Okay, so in terms of usage, I'm sure that'd be pretty sweet, but you don't even sell that. You don't even buy it either, though. That's the main thing. So, if we're really hoping for some form of recovery for Sinotype and, like the other storage collections, so let's go take a look at Graffiti, for example. You can spell Graffiti right. I think I can. I know I can. Graffiti. There's 2 Fs. I should go to bed. But look, notice, drop box. Perfectly fine. Most of the skins here look pretty okay, but they have suffered. So let's go take a look at the Graffiti gun storage, for example, as well. Take a look. Oh, no, not the workshop. I meant the market. Sorry. And we'll see with our own eyes. We'll get a good look at this. Yep, this is just under $4. I'll turn my extension on. We'll get a good look at you. Yep, so about $3.70 almost. and then we'll look at the sales history, and you'll realise, oh, hang on a minute, yeah, it was a lot better off before. Yeah. Oh boy, oh no. So, yep. I mean, it looks like it's trending upwards, but come on, be real here. Oh, that was a bad drop-off. So, yeah, it might take a while for Graffiti to fully get back to where it was. Not a pleasant sight to see. But again, after 3 months, we did need to go back to this just to see how everything progressed. And of course, pointing out like the new things to be aware of. So, okay. I would recommend you go back and look at like all the other storages, for example. So, let's now talk about small box collections, because they have been attempted before, but we haven't really seen one succeed super greatly. And you might recall last year, we happened to see a very interesting small props collection. And to be honest with you, I was kind of expecting potentially see one of those boxes being accepted, because there's like a fish box and a seal box. Seal as in, we're being raided. I need to quickly get some stuff to quickly seal up. It was like an emergency sort of design. That was cool. That was nice. But it wasn't accepted, and I'm sad. Please take notice, small meds box is doing A-OK. Small ammo box is doing A-OK. Is that what people want? Because, as I've already pointed out, what would you like to see if there were to be a Sinotype small box collection? What would you prioritise? Would it be things that we haven't seen before? Like, I don't know, maybe it couldn't hurt for another diving box, another tea box, another fuel box? Like, what would you prioritise? What do you need the most? A berries box? Seeds box? I mean, comment below. Comment below. Tell me. And I'm sure the skin creator will see as well. All right? The emergency kit. Don't get the seal box thing. That's the emergency. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and take a look. Just so people understand what we're trying to say. So the whole collection's here. Unfortunately, we didn't get all of them. But this, it was referred to as small seal box. It was referred to as small seal box. Break glass in case of emergency. Or more specifically, break glass in case of raid. That was clever. I like that. I'm still upset that we never saw it being accepted. So, anyway, moving on. Unfortunately, it didn't fully progress nicely. It didn't get fully completed. And what really kicked it down was seeing the neon cards box being accepted. If you don't fully remember, towards the end of 2025, we were supposed to see the naval update come out, but it got delayed twice. And all the skins that were prepared for December 4 swipe for when we were going to originally see the naval update, all of them were naval themed skins. So Facepunch had to turn around and say, oh, okay, we've got to do a different type of roster. All right, surprise, complete the sets. Well, we weren't upset with it. There's some cool looking skins, but boom, what's that? And boom, look at that, they also accepted this. And just a couple months later, oh dear, they went ahead and released the DLC. But yeah, that appeared. This appeared, and unfortunately, our small props cards box, it was doing pretty good beforehand. It was slightly in the positive. It was doing A-OK. Once that went down, like all the others just kind of went down with it, it just kind of killed all of its momentum. Like, the lack of new skins wasn't good, but then to see this appear and like that get all the attention, oh god, yeah, so that wasn't fun. But let me also point out this is currently priced at $3. It was pushing up to $4 before, but it's in a bit of an interesting spot now because, oh, look at that, there's another one now. So, Neon Cards box, how much did you sell? Let's just quickly remind ourselves, over 31,000. This right here, that's not doing 31,000 subscribers. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Maybe this could work out quite all right. If we have a small box collection that sells reasonably, well then, maybe a lot of people might happen to appreciate that. Which also glows in the dark, by the way. Which also glows in the dark. But we do still have the issues, like, oh, well, you know, it's hard to read. But then again, like, if you've got these on the side, if you've got, like, the colours appropriately, I mean, I'm sure it'll be all right. Like, if you've got it on the floor, you're going to be able to see the pictures on the top perfectly fine, I'm sure, as well. It's a bit debatable, but I know the main issue, the main crux with the Sinotype collection with the large boxes, if you stack them all up nicely with a garage door and whatnot, you couldn't read it, could you? I always had to keep sitting here and saying, come on, guys, let's sit down and learn to read all of these. So let's go over to here and look at clothes, all right? How on earth can you read this, Hedge? Well, I looked at it and I read it. What do you mean? Oh, you don't have the actual pictures to the side. We'll have to hop in game and showcase that in a second. Anyway, so yeah, we're in a pretty interesting spot, and I'm questioning, could this help could we have like a resurgence? That'd be nice. That'd be cool. So keep an eye out. Maybe the skin creator will consider it. I will remind you, when we saw that Sinotype Firearms, I don't think they made that with the intention of turning it into a collection. But because we kept asking and asking and asking, I'm sure that motivated him, and lo and behold, what happened? Maybe start offering some suggestions if you want. Maybe I'll link the workshop page in the description of this video, and you can offer your own opinions, your own ideas. Inspire him so that we can hopefully recover. Alright, cool. So, alright, that's nice. That's something to look forward to. But I will remind you, Neon beat us to it. Neon Collection did appear first with a small box set. Small Props was the most recent and the most successful in terms of the most acceptances. I believe we went up to 8. But what we had here, back in 2024, was an interesting subsidiary extra collection of small boxes. And of course, later on we got that one there. And I should also point out there's a Seeds box on the workshop. You never know, we might see that. No, not Seeds box, Berries box. Berries box, sorry about that. These appeared in 2024, sorry. These appeared in 2021. And they sold absurd numbers. Glowed in the dark, people liked them. Oh, it's just a nice addition to the most in-demand storage collection back then. They did suffer when times were bad. And after a couple of years, they're actually doing quite all right now. It took a while to get to this stable point. And from here and now, I wouldn't be surprised if they do slowly pick themselves up and do better. But of course, if we do see a brand new storage collection again, small box collection, yeah, that might be a bit problematic for it. But the big difference is, this is not selling that much. I'd imagine the SEC one probably would sell a little bit more, because once we realise, oh, hang on a minute, we've got a small box collection now. Yeah. So, all right, we'll keep an eye on this. Things are looking pretty interesting. I know this was a bit rambly, but you know what Hedge is like. I'm just trying to make sure you're fully well aware of all the things going on, so that when we look at the progress again in about 2 months' time, well, were we right to be a little bit optimistic again? I will be a little bit more realistic with you. I don't think Sinotype's recovering anytime soon properly. I think it needs years to fully recover. And again, at the end of the day, do people even want to go back to this? Do people even want this in comparison to the DLC? Which again, might not be for everybody, because it doesn't exactly look super flashy or super stylish. It's got its own style. Might not be for everyone, but it does have its own sort of themes. So, okay, cool. Right, well, there you go. That was a big ramble. That was a big yep session. Well, we have a small box collection on the horizon. And at the very least, how about we hop in game, give that a good look. You can offer your opinion. You can tell me what you think of it. And once again, here we are in game, ready to try our best in being able to read what a Sinotype skin says. Yeah. So, okay, let's get up nice and close. Observe the pictures on the front and, of course, on the top. Red, blue, green cards on display. Now, the question we need to figure out is, can you, the viewer, read what this says? Can you read what this says? Because that's the main problem Sinotype has had for a very long time. You know what? Let's make it easier for you. Can you read what this says? Can you look at that and easily tell what box this might just so happen to be? Now, some of you might be sitting there and saying, Hedge, I know. What are you doing? No. Please be aware. For a very long time, a lot of people did not know how to read this. So I'm going to quickly help you out right now. Once again, top left, G. Top right, U. Bottom left, N. Bottom right, S. Guns. Guns box. Oh, well, technically speaking, it's called the Sinotype Firearms box. And, well, you can look at that now. You can see the gun. But yes, a lot of people don't know how to read these. So if I were to navigate over to here, oh, what's that on display? Yes. I've got them on a shelf. Now, if you were to stack them like so, is that going to be easy to figure out? Is that going to be easy to deduce? Would you be able to tell, yes, that is the Sinotype mini cards box? Oh boy. And then, of course, on that side, you'll see the picture. And on the other side, blue cards. So, I'm not sure if everyone would agree that's super easy to figure out. Now over to here, let's just give it like a proper little showcase now. So I'm just going to move the sun around a little bit. Nighttime. We've got the lights on nearby. It's a perfectly fine design for what it is. But in terms of readability, the ease of being able to say, or rather read what this is and know what's inside or what should be inside, that might be a bit questionable. Glows in the dark, perfectly fine though. That's a super easy skin to see at night time. A lovely bit of glow, a lovely touch of colour. It's just, yeah, it's the design of it that's always been a bit of a problem. Are you motivated? Are you looking forward to the idea of having a small box collection now? I don't want to sound like disruptive or whatever, but I had to remind people the issues and the concerns this has had. Now, in regards to small boxes, maybe you might be in a small room, maybe you just might cover the entire floor with small boxes. At the very least, as you look at this here, would you be able to tell what that is? Would you be able to tell what's inside? I'd hope so. I mean, like, how many small boxes have red, blue, and green? But, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it easy to deduce? If they were to do more as a small box collection, should they just emphasize pictures? Because is it easier to read the text? Is the text even big enough? Lots of questions to ask, lots of theories to be made. So, cool. Well, that's definitely something for us to consider. And from here now, let's just wait and see what happens next. Quite literally. So, let me just move the sun around. You might notice I have the Sinotype Firearms, or rather the Guns box. I have the DLC Guns box right there. And I also happen to have the Rustoria Guns box. Give this a good look. And feel free to comment below, between these three Guns boxes, which one happens to be most favourite? Of course, there are some concerns in regards to the imagery, the readability. But you could always sit there and say, you know, like, I like a certain style. I like a certain appearance. Because when I look over to here, it looks cool for what they went with. And when you put weapons in here, you do see, like, weapons being stacked up on the inside. It's pretty cool. Aside from that, like, how many times are you going to stand over it and see? But being able to read the sides, no matter what, like, I've got to hand it to him. Like, I'm sure the majority of people watching me right now understands and can read English. So, offer your opinion. Do you prefer that? But the style might not be for everyone. Blah, blah, blah. We get the point, Hedge. And then boom. Rustoria colours. Straightforward, easy to read text. Say no more. Alright. For absolutely free, we could have a drop collection. A drop storage collection. And then, of course, nighttime. Pitch black. This has so much colour to it. A lovely style. Still super easy to see. Whilst this glows, it's literally just the text. Maybe a little couple lights here and there and different designs. But it's still perfectly fun and easy to read. And then over to here, boom. Lots of colour. Lots of interesting neon lights. But questionable reading ability. So we'll see what becomes of all of this. It was nice to make a return. It was nice to have a yapping session. I must have gone on for about 40-45 minutes. I'm sorry. But, you know, you knew what you were walking into. You knew the time. You saw it. You knew exactly what was going to happen. But I will now sit here and say, we'll keep an eye on things over the course of the next 2 months. We'll see how things potentially progress. Maybe it just might be 10 minutes of saying, no, it didn't happen. I mean, it could happen. We'll see. But do you still happen to own all of the Sinotype skins you requested with a buy order? Or ones you bought straight from the Rust store? I do. Uh-oh. But hey, I'll see how it goes. It's not a loss until I try to sell it. There you go. I just have to hold on to it for maybe another 10 years.